Today I'm not going to do a long intro here. We're just going to get right down to the meat and potatoes of this. Today we are going to make a 3 meats and potato pie, or casserole. I'm going to call it a pie. It's going to be layered like a lasagna. We got 2 pounds of pork, 2 pounds of beef, and 2 pounds of chicken breast. We're going to layer it with a can of diced or sliced potatoes that is well out of date, like about, I think, 10 years, best before February of 14, I think. So anyway, we're going to use these sliced potatoes to make layers. We're going to put in, I got 2 cans of corn, 2 cans of peas, and 2 cans of carrots. We're going to use a pouch of Lipton's beefy onion soup for cooking our meat. And we're going to use Sweet Baby Ray's barbecue sauce. Anything else I come along as we're putting this together. So the first thing I'm going to do, we're going to cook all the meat in the slow cooker. First thing I'm going to do is put a splash of oil in my skillet here. A nice cast iron one. And we're going to get these nice and browned. So we're not going to need our vegetables for a while, so let me clear these out of the way. Alright, so let's start out with our beef. So we're going to brown all 4 sides of that. Get a nice crispy crust on all 4 sides of that as best we can. It'll probably take, well, I don't know how long it's going to take. Let's see if I can get this back into the camera a little bit for you. I think you can see that there. Okay, see the way that's getting a nice good sear on that? We're going to try and do that to all 4 sides. Okay, well that's searing, I forgot to tell you what kind of beef that is. That is a 2-pound rump roast cut. So there's my roast beef. That, you know, it's just a couple minutes each side. Put a little bit more oil in here. And let's take our, this is a pork loin boneless roast. 2 pounds. We're going to do the same thing to it. Alright, there's my pork roast done. Now chicken's not going to take as long. So I get this in there before the smoke detector goes off and annoys you guys. We're going to do the same thing. We're going to try and get the, there you go, it's going up. Get those chicken breasts just a few minutes on each side. Get them brown. I'll be right back. Okay, let's stop that because of my fire alarm is getting on my nerves. We got those nice and brown. And what we're going to do now, I got the heat off on that. We're going to put a cup of water in here. And a pouch of the beefy onion mix. And stir that up. And get rid of all that flavor that is stuck to the pan. There we go. back in here. And we're going to use that for our slow cooker. Alright, let me get this kitchen aired out and get this all cleaned up, and I'll be right back. Okay, we got that cleaned up and those dadgum smoke detectors off. So we're going to put our roast beef on one side of the crock pot, our roast pork on the other, and somehow, I mean, this isn't really necessary, but when we go to fishing it out, I want to fish it out separately. Somehow I'm going to try and make a divider for my chicken. Yeah, that'll work just like that. Just make kind of like a bowl in the middle there. Throw my chicken and breast in that. And just to help keep it separate. So that when we go to trade up, we can do it on separate flavors. This is my onion soup and water that we got from the bottom of the skillet, all that flavor. I'm going to go ahead and just pour that in there. And we'll probably put a cup of water in with that, just to give that some moisture. Alright. Throw the lid on that. Turn that on low. Plug it in. We are going to cook that for about 8 hours on low. So I'll see you in 8 hours. Okay, we've let this cook for 8 hours. I then turned it off and let it cool down a bit. About halfway through that 8 hours, I turned these over, just because they weren't totally covered in liquid. So I didn't want one side to get dried out too much. So here's our beef. So let's get this all shredded up. Look at that, just fall apart. Fall apart tender. We're being generous with our shred as well. Does that look good or what? You know it does. And boy, that searing the outside sure made a difference on that. But I think next time I'll fire up the barbecue grill and do it outside. Alright, there's my beef. Let me put this off to the side. Let's dig out the pork now. And do the same thing. I'm going to take out any of this fat that we got on here though. Oh yeah. Nice. All right. There's the pork. Need another plate. Take the chicken out of this center piece here. And we'll shred that up. And there we have that. Let's take our foil out. Now all this liquid in here we are going to use. So that is full of flavor. So what I got here is a cup of my Sweet Baby Ray's, and I use sweet and spicy because that's my favorite barbecue sauce. And I'm going to mix that in with this. Now we start out with a cup. We might need more. I'll have a look at this when we're done. We'll see. Bearing in mind we're going to make 2 casseroles with this. Oh yeah, that's good. We're going to go ahead and put another cup. Not a cup. We'll put basically the rest of this bottle. This is an 18-ounce bottle. We'll put a little bit of water in there. Give it a good shake. We'll dump this into our mix here. Our sauce mix. Mix that in here. Just get that kind of loosened up. And we'll add that to our pot. Alright. Alrighty, so I'm going to get this all cleaned off, get some room made, and we'll press on. So next time, I'll just take a few minutes, and then we'll be back. And I'm preheating the oven to 450 degrees Fahrenheit. Okay, I think I got enough just about room on this little table to show you all this. So here's my big number 10 can of sliced potatoes. Now what I'm going to do here is layer the bottom of this, each of my 9x13 trays with potatoes, with a layer of taters. Alright, for the bottom we are going to put half of the roast beef in each tray. Just spread it along the bottom there. Ain't got any big chunks like that, I kind of break them up. Alright. Now let's open beef and corn. Let's take a can of whole kernel corn. Now I'm going to put 1 can in each casserole dish. Just spread it out. Just like that. Let's do the same with the other dish. Here's my corn. Like that. Now, we are going to ladle some of this sauce that we made from the slow cooker over this layer. This sauce is full of barbecue, onion, and onion soup, and beef, pork, and chicken drippings. So it's full of flavor. We'll do that for both of them. Kind of like that. Alright. Now we're going to move on to our next layer. And I'm just going to dig my hands in here and put our layer of potatoes over the top. Oops, I forgot my cheese. Well, we'll make up for that on this layer. I forgot to do this on the first layer, but I have 2 pounds of shredded sharp cheddar. And between each layer, we are going to add some cheddar cheese. We need that. Just sprinkle it on there. Imagine I did this before I put my potatoes down on this layer. We'll get it right from here on out. We're not overloading it here because we're going to put several layers. Just put a little bit of cheese on there. And I always got more if I need it. Alright, so put the cheddar down, then do a layer of potatoes. Now let's do our pork. Half of the pork on this one. Give that a squish because we're going to get full on this. Alright. Now, pork and carrots. Sounds good. Oh, 1 can of sliced carrots on each tray. Kind of like so. Spread those out a little bit. Spread that love. And we'll do the same for that one. Let's put some cheese on each layer. And some sauce. All right, we're getting there. All right, let's do another layer of potatoes. And we're going to split up our chicken. Half of it on each. Kind of like that. peas to go on that. So far we got corn, potatoes, and peas. 1 can on each tray. All right. Sprinkle that with some cheese. And man, these are going to be full. You'll definitely want a baking sheet underneath it, a cookie sheet, because I reckon it might bubble over. Alright, now we are going to do our top layer of potato. Wait a minute, I ain't put my sauce on there yet. Let's finish it off with some sauce. Last of that out of there. Oh yeah. Now for the top layer. Top layer of potatoes. Just to finish it off. I should have enough here. Alright, so there you have it. 2 casseroles. Make sure you put a baking sheet underneath those because they might bubble over. We got them so full. I got them in I'm going to put them in my preheated oven, which is preheated to 450 degrees Fahrenheit. I'm going to guess probably about half an hour. We'll keep an eye on this. I want my potatoes to start browning on the edges and all that. And once I'm happy with the way my potatoes look, I'll pull them out. I'll take this other bag of cheese, which I'm going to use so far 2 bags of my 4 bags. So I've used a pound of cheese so far. And anyway, so I'll wait till my potatoes are baked to the way I like them. See if we can get them nice and crispy on the edges. Then I'll pull them out of the oven. I'll top that with cheese again. And pop them back in the oven and let that cheese melt on the top. And we should end up with a couple of beautiful dishes. So I'll see you when these come out of the oven, and I'll let you know how long I baked them for at 350 degrees. And then I'll tell you how long it took to bake them to get them nice and golden brown, and then adding the cheese on the top and melting the cheese. So I'll see you when these come out of the oven. Okay, my potatoes have started to turn golden brown. I had that in the oven, 450 degrees for 45 minutes. So we're now going to open our 3rd bag of cheese, which makes that 1.5 pounds, and we're just going to sprinkle that on the top. We'll put half a bag on this one and half a bag on the other one. And by the way, I didn't get any overspill, which was nice. I was worried about that. Alright, I will pop these back into the oven. I'll keep an eye on that until my cheese is nicely melted. And I'll come back and let you know how long that took. Okay, there you have it. I put that in the oven for another about 10 minutes. I forgot to set the timer. But it was about 10 minutes just to let that cheese melt a bit. So now if I were going to serve this to the family tonight or today, you would want to let that sit for about 10-15 minutes. It's bubbling away right now. Kind of let that congeal together. So you want to let that sit for about 10 or 15 minutes. I will let that sit for a little bit longer than that because we are going to tray it up and have some left over I hope, for my dinner today. But man, this looks good and smells good. That's a new one for me. I invented that, I guess, kind of wanted to build on the idea of a shepherd's pie, but use 3 meats. I'm going to come up with a clever name for this dish, I'm sure. So we'll let this set and cool down. We'll get it all trayed up and into the freezer, pre-freeze it. I'll see you then. Okay, we are ready to tray this up. So we're going to try and put about 2.5 pounds on each tray. Oh man, that looks good. Can't wait to try some of this. Alright, there's 2.1, and I'm going to spread that out, and then we're going to put some of that juice on there for flavor. Now I have a medium 4 tray freeze dryer, the old style. One of my viewers asked me to kind of mention that every now and then, because I guess everybody's got 5 trays, so they can only put 2 pounds per tray, I think. But I got the bigger trays, well, the wider trays, higher trays, so that I can do 4. So let me get my dividers, and we'll get a little unslotted spoon to bring that up to 2.5 pounds, which is some of that liquid. That's all good flavor that we don't want to lose when we reconstitute. Okay, 2.36, 2.47. .5 exactly. Now we're going to do 3 trays of this, because I like to package 10 mils per freeze dryer load. So we put 3 squares of these squares in each mil pouch. So 3 trays would be 10 mils. Alright, so we'll press on, get this all trayed up, and I'll be right back. Alright, here's my 3rd tray. Well, I just cannot sing praises loud enough for these dividers. They're so easy to clean, so easy to assemble, and they just make the perfect portion divider. I get these. I'll put a link to these in the description box below. If you order using that link, it helps my channel a little bit, and every little bit helps. But you know, if you watch any of my videos, you know I use them all the time. I really love them. Very, Worth every penny, let me tell you. All right, so we got those 3 trays done. I'm gonna let them cool down a little bit more. Then we'll get them in the freezer, frozen solid. We're gonna dish some of this up now, and I'm gonna have that for lunch, and I'm gonna let you know what it tastes like. As you can see, I did a recipe. If you cut that recipe in half, you could just about finish those 3 trays. Only missed that little bit of the corner. I took some from there to bring it up to the full weight. So you could probably get away with just cutting the recipe in half if you didn't want to have none for you or the family or anything. But I like to do a little bit extra because I like to at least have 1 meal, fresh meal out of it. And something like this, I can bag that up, stick it in my freezer, and anytime I want some, I can just pop it out. Let me tell you, does that look delicious or what? I might get a close-up of that just so you can see that. I'm hungry. It's well past lunchtime. Let's see what this tastes like. Oh man, that is good. Get some beef in there. Man, I didn't overdo the barbecue sauce, but I did that for a reason. I didn't want to overwhelm all the 3 meats. I just wanted to add a little bit of flavor, and this came out perfect. And if you make some of this up, and you got the budget that allows you to make 2 of them, I recommend making 1 for the freezer and 1 for the family. And you can't go wrong because this is absolutely gorgeous. I wouldn't change a thing. So, we'll pop this in the freezer, get it frozen solid, then we'll fire up Big Red, get it in the freeze dryer, and next time you see it, it'll be coming out of the freeze dryer. I'll see you then. Cheers. There we have it. My 3 meats and potato casserole. And let me tell you, I enjoyed eating that fresh. So we're gonna package this up and see how it comes out freeze dried. Go ahead. Use that to kind of help cut those. We're going to put 3 squares. These ran for 40 plus minutes, as all my loads do. And I just break it up a little bit to help it get in there. Because 3 squares fill it up nicely. All right. Let me get this all packaged and I'll be right back. Alrighty, we got those all bagged up. Now we gotta get them all O2'd up. Put 1 oxygen absorber in each pouch. And not make a mess. There's 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Perfect. All right. Now, before we heat seal these, I'm gonna Ziploc those shut. So I get a nice flat lip to seal those on. Alright, there we go. They're all zipped shut. Just wait for my heater light to go off. Let me know this is up to temperature. Which I put at about 125. Alright, it's gone out. Let's put that heat seal on there. With this heat sealer, you can see it melt along the edge. You know it's sealed. You know it's got a good seal. Alrighty, that's all sealed up. Let's turn that off. And we're going to let that cool down. Unplug it. We'll let that cool down. I'll get this all cleaned off. We'll get these put away for long-term storage. And I'll come back and do a taste test. I'll see you then. Okay, it's lunchtime, so it's time to mix up a batch of 3 meats and taters. So we're gonna, I think I'm gonna call this on the video the 3 meat and potatoes of casserole. For us old timers, you know, when you say something like the meat and potatoes of things, that's the basics of it, you know. That's the meat of whatever you're saying. So I thought that'd be a cute name. Alright, let's open that up. Dig out my O2 absorber. That's what it looks like on the inside. We're going to start with our standard 3/4 cup of hot water that I have just taken out of my Keurig, so it is nice and hot. That's 3/4. We'll ziplock that shut. And we'll see you in 2 minutes. Alright, that's been 2 minutes. Let's open her up, give it a stir, and see how things are coming on. Oh yeah, it's looking good. Looking good. I'm going to check one of these taters just to make sure we're got enough water in there, because it's I'm going to put a splash more in there. That's what it looks like now. I don't know if you can see that. Let me see if I can get it in the camera. Yeah, there you go. So it's kind of thick, and the potatoes are a little bit stiff. So I'm going to go ahead and put the whole cup in there. Give that a stir. Get those taters in the water. That might be a little bit too much water, but we'll see. I would have liked it to have been that nice and thick, what I just showed you, but the potatoes didn't seem to have grabbed enough water. So, we'll see you in 2 minutes. Alright, that's been 2 minutes. Let's give that one more stir. And it's a little bit more runny than I would like it, but it sure looks good. Oh. We would eat that right out of the pouch if we wanted to. I get these pouches from topmylar.com. topmylar.com. And I love them. This is called a single mil pouch. It's 7 mil thick. wider than it is tall, so you can eat right out of it. Your utensil reaches all the way to the bottom. Perfect for a to-go meal. But we like to dish it out, so let's do that. Oh yeah. Look at that. Does that look good? I'm salivating thinking about it. All right. Let's dig in and see what it tastes like. 3 meats and potatoes. Just as good as fresh. Not as pretty as fresh, but just as good. Man, I love the subtleness of the barbecue sauce. It doesn't overpower all the flavor of your carrots, potatoes, and peas, and meat. You get the full flavor of everything with just a touch of barbecue sauce. You guys are going to love this one. This is such a hearty meal. Potatoes have now come back perfectly. And those canned potatoes were pretty thick. Sliced pretty thick. I am super happy with that, let me tell you. As I was with the fresh. I pigged out on that whole tray. When you reconstitute this and you put your water in, put your water in at first. Don't stir it because then your potatoes will all mush up. But if you let that sit there for the first 2 minutes before stirring, a lot more of the potatoes hold their shape. Instead of turning into a powder. I mean, some of it did turn into powder, I can see that. Which, believe me, don't take away from the flavor, but you like that nice texture of biting into a potato. Sitting here thinking, you guys watched me eat this twice. And I have to say that you guys need to really think about doing that, at least even if you don't freeze right, doing that recipe up. It is delicious. Slow cooked meat really comes back so well when reconstituting. I've had several people comment, you can do a roast in your Instapot, which I have a foodie, but the same thing. Pressure cook that and be done in like 40 minutes. Yeah, I'm going to respectfully disagree with you. No doubt you can get it done in 40 minutes. And if you're happy with that, by all means do it your way. But I think that nothing is better than a slow cooked roast. Cooked for 8 hours, all that juices and everything is gently going into all the meat, turning it into a nice, beautiful, tender roast. And plus, in my younger days, not too long ago, maybe 15, 20 years ago, I did a lot of canning. And I did a lot of cold raw pack canning of beef. And whenever I open up pressure canned beef, it just smells like dog food to me. So that puts me off. Now, I don't know if that is the same with doing it in a pressure cooker, but it's the same principle. I mean, you put pressurizing that in a jar and cooking it in its own juice. Nah, I'm going to stick with my slow cooker. I'm in no rush. If you're a working person, which I used to be, but I'm not no more, you just pop it in, turn it on in the morning. When you come home from work, it's all done and ready for you. Nice and hot. And like I say, in my opinion, it's just in my opinion, nothing could beat a slow cooked roast. Nothing. Did I tell you? You have to excuse my hands. I've been polishing a clock. I tell you that meal is delicious. I enjoyed that. I hope you enjoyed the video, and I look forward to seeing you soon.